Hi guys, it's Kyla with My Player. We're an NIL company. We make custom merch for college athletes. And a couple weeks ago, we traveled to Arlington, Texas to cover the AMG College Baseball Series Weekend 3. And that's where we met Presley. Honestly, it was such an awesome experience. So do you want to talk a little bit about what you do and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I went to the University of Arkansas, which is kind of where I fell in love with college baseball, and I'm getting my master's at SMU right now, in Master of Legal Studies, but I do a bunch of just sports media and cover college baseball with Inside Arkansas and then with Around the Horn season.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually really crazy. The guys, Aiden and Nate, were telling us like, "Oh, we're staying with Presley." We're like, "Who is Presley?" And then we met Presley, and I was like, "Okay, we're gonna be best friends forever."
No, yeah, and then they said they have their like social media girl. I don't know who this girl is. I don't even know her name. And then she walked in, I was like, "Oh, she's so cute. Like,
No,
we're gonna
because
be
you
friends."
had followed our account like a few days before, and I was asking everybody in the office. I'm like, "Does anybody know what I wear to this?" They're all guys, so I'm like, "I don't know what I wear to like cover a college baseball tournament." I was like going through your TikTok and your reels, and I was like, "Oh, this is about to be so special."
That has to be the first time anyone has ever taken outfit inspo from me. I'm honored.
I love it. They should. They should. It was a pretty crazy week of college baseball last week and a lot of big upsets. Presley, I know you were live in Norman, so you want to talk a bit about that?
So this past weekend, I was in Norman, Oklahoma. Got to see the Friday game got canceled, but I saw the Saturday and Sunday game versus Santa Clara. They look really sharp, definitely trending up. But I didn't have the opportunity to really look at a bunch of the games from this past weekend until Sunday and Monday. But it was a crazy weekend of college baseball for it being week 4 and not conference yet.
Yeah, I mean, starting out the weekend with High Point winning the series against Florida was pretty insane. I feel like that was unexpected for a lot of people.
I like kind of caught the end of that game, and High Point was winning towards the end of that third game, and then Florida came back and walked them off. And of course, they celebrated very insanely, which just felt kind of crazy considering it was High Point and they were ranked number 9. But
High Point, that was the biggest series win in program history. Did you know that?
oh no, I didn't. That's crazy. Good
Yeah,
for
that's what
them.
we have here. What's one of the biggest upsets of the season, which I guess isn't really much to say because we're only in week 4. I'm sure there's a lot to come.
Considering it's not even conference yet, I have no idea. But so High Point beats number 9 Florida, and then Virginia beat number 8 North Carolina. I didn't have the chance to rewatch any of those games. Did you?
No, I kind of caught the last end of the last game on Sunday,
Mhm.
but I know UNC bounced back later in the doubleheader, but Virginia securing that series was kind of a shock to everybody, I think. But
Definitely. After losing their head coach last year too, and yeah, I mean we just saw the old Virginia team with Mississippi State when we were in Globe Life. And then I know you watched the Virginia Tech Georgia Tech series. And they're both ACC, aren't they?
yeah, so that was like
Oh,
AC
that was a conference game.
play kind of kicking off there. Yeah, Georgia Tech run rolled Virginia Tech in the first game of the series for sure. It was a rough Friday night for the Hokies, but Saturday looked a little bit better. I didn't get to catch the whole game. Had a hair appointment. They got a few more runs in. It was 14-5, but they definitely came back on Sunday with a 9-6 win. So scoring 6 unanswered runs. So they definitely avoided that sweep. Good for them.
Caught the end of that game and I was like, good for Virginia Tech, but also kind of crazy because I mean Georgia Tech was ranked 5. I
Yeah.
think they still are even after this past weekend. They might even have moved up. Yeah, they're 4. They're 4 this week.
Drew Brees is always going to put on a show. Is one of the best right now. For sure. He's definitely one to watch. But Georgia Tech is just a powerhouse team, but I think it was an impressive showing for Virginia Tech to just keep getting better and better in the series. It's a long season, so we'll see what else they have. I know they're going to Virginia this weekend, and Virginia just put on a show versus UNC, so we'll see what happens.
Down goes the Tigers, is all I have to say. And after they
Mhm.
beat Arkansas in the College World Series last year, I hold a grudge. I mean, I love LSU, but I hold a grudge towards that baseball team. And Sacramento State won that series versus LSU. And the Tigers, I think, now this week have been pushed out of the top 10.
I don't know with the loss against Louisiana and now against Sacramento State. Again, kind of anything can happen. We saw it already with UCLA kind of having some unexpected losses early in the season. So we'll see what happens with them. We are rooting for the Tigers over here. Presley can say her piece.
They're fine.
We'll get into the mid-majors later. Texas and USC Upstate. Texas just undefeated. I think it's them, New Mexico, and USC. Those are the
Uh-huh.
three standing undefeated in D1 college baseball right now. I'm excited to see how the rest of their season goes.
I'm really excited to see how Texas performs in SEC play. Like after seeing UCLA, and knowing that Texas is definitely the hottest team, even though they're not the number one team, I am so entertained to just see how kind of both of them continue playing over the next few weeks. Because I mean, bats can go cold, people can get hurt. Who knows what's going to happen towards the end of the season? But I think that UCLA is the better team. A lot of people have been going back and forth on UCLA and Texas, which is funny because Gasparino, I don't know if you know this, but he transferred from Texas
Yes, yes,
after last season. So I'm very entertained to see how Texas does during conference play.
that'll be exciting.
Talking about my Razorbacks, I'm not very happy with them right now. The bats are not looking where I'd want them to be. I've been seeing some really funny tweets about our hitting coach, Nate Thompson, but I'm not going to mention those. We're 12-5 right now. We lost to TCU in our Globe Life series. This past weekend, we split a 4-game series with Stetson. We won the first two, lost the second two. Our bats have gone cold, and the bottom of our lineup just like is not seeing the ball at all. Yeah, no, I mean, Arkansas's pitching, from what I've seen, looks really, really good. I think Fisher is somewhere like in the stat rankings. I don't know if it's ERA or strikeouts, but I think he's had a really good season so far. But we definitely need more production from the bottom half of our lineup if we want to be able to do anything in conference play because we're playing Mississippi State this weekend. Mississippi State's offense looks amazing. We're striking out way too much. We have 186 strikeouts on the season. This time last year, Arkansas, I remember bragging to so many people about how we had 6 guys batting over 350. Now we only have one, Cam Kojal. So I'm kind of nervous about how conference play is going to go for Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, best of luck to the Razorbacks. Aggies, Texas A&M, we're a big fan over here at My Player. Loved watching them play a couple weeks ago. I haven't been able to catch any of their games since then, which I probably need to get on. I know they had a hard loss to UCLA. But other than that, pretty strong season with a 14-1 record. They just swept Oakland this weekend.
The Aggies are my biggest rivalry team. Like growing up from Texas to being a Texas Longhorns fan and then going to Arkansas. Hate Texas A&M, but I have to give them some credit. Like they do look really good this year. Caden Sorrell leads the team with 8 home runs, unless I don't know if they had a midweek yesterday. It could be above that now, but they're building a really strong resume going into conference play this year. I'm kind of nervous. They're going to be in Norman this weekend playing Oklahoma, and that's going to be a tough matchup. So we'll see how that ends up playing out.
Should be a fun one. For the teams we have trending up this week, Georgia Tech with a 14-2 record. I mean, even with the loss to Virginia Tech, still an incredibly impressive showing from them this weekend. With a run roll win on the first game, had a good win on Saturday, even though there was a tough loss on Sunday. So excited to see what they get up to for the rest of the season.
I didn't get to watch them, but I mean, honestly, a lot from you and Will. I've heard so many good things about Georgia Tech, and I'm excited to see them play. And even though they did lose that game to Virginia Tech on Sunday, they moved up a spot and moved, I think, from like 5 to 4 in the D1 baseball
Yeah.
rankings.
I mean, they have a really strong lineup, so I'm excited to see the type of show that they put on for the rest of the season. Southern Miss.
They look really good. Southern Miss looks really impressive. They're 14-2. Granted, they haven't been playing nearly as competitive teams, but they beat Mississippi State in a midweek game last week. I went back and watched it on Wheels, and that's got to be a ballpark that I go to in the next 2 years. Southern Miss looked electric. They had like lights flashing on and off the field, like the crowd looked wild. I'm like, I don't even know where Southern Miss is in Mississippi, but that ballpark looks more fun than half of the collegiate ballparks I've been to before.
Where is Southern Miss?
I don't know.
Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Oh,
17
okay.
miles north of the Mississippi Gulf Coast and 105 miles northeast of New Orleans.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been to Hattiesburg, so I kind of know where that is, and I cannot say I've ever seen the Southern Miss campus.
I've never been to Mississippi. Chicago girl.
Oh, yeah, I gotta show you the South.
I know. We need to get going on that. Oklahoma. 14-2 record. What do we think?
They, yeah, they look very impressive. I mean, they were a really impressive team last year. They had, I mean, all three of their starting pitchers got drafted. Kyson, Witherspoon, Malachi Witherspoon, the twins, and then Cade Crossland. They all kind of lost their starting pitchers, and then Cam Johnson comes in. He was a transfer from LSU 2 years ago. He looks so impressive. I was kind of nervous when I saw him in Globe Life a few weeks ago and started because he was pretty shaky last year and you could never really like fully depend on him. I mean, the crowd gets kind of nervous when he's walking up to the mound, but he has been so impressive. LJ Mercurius has been striking out guys like left and right. I don't know his exact stat lines, but Oklahoma pitching looks really impressive right now. They're doing a good job. They just need to make sure they keep their bats hot and that their pitchers stay sharp. But I'm very excited to see the series against Texas A&M this weekend.
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. I actually called Presley today and I'm like, what if I flew down to Dallas on Friday? Would you wait for me to drive
Yeah.
to Norman?
Yeah.
I know. It sounds like such a fun series. The teams that are struggling this week, LSU, I mean, back-to-back losses with Sacramento State in Louisiana. Definitely a tough one for the Tigers. It was LSU's first time losing back-to-back games to unranked teams since 2023. So hopefully we see an upward tick here. Like I've said a million times, still a lot of time left in the season.
Hmm.
I don't even know how many games left. A bajillion.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see a comeback from them.
No, definitely. I mean, they got Big Papa, they got Curiel, like you said earlier. I think college baseball just right now is insane in general, and that it's a very even playing field right now. I wouldn't necessarily take any teams just because they're not batting good or because they're not pitching good or because they're struggling in one area. I would not throw them out of contention yet.
I mean, we were talking about before we even hopped on the call, just the mid-major schools that are showing up this year are actually nuts. It's,
Oh yeah.
I feel like I don't follow baseball as closely as I follow other sports, and I have never seen this much talk of just the mid-major schools being the ones to keep their eyes on. So definitely being a new baseball fan, it's been fun to kind of follow that culture
Hmm.
and hear all the conversations surrounding that because it is a lot different than what you would see in like football. Like they put JMU in
Oh
the
yeah.
playoffs and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh."
Oh my gosh, no. It's like an
So,
entirely different thing in baseball. And
right.
it's also just the game of baseball. Like everything can change in the bottom of the ninth.
Right.
Actually, which kind of brings me to Florida finally coming back from High Point in that third game. I was rooting for High Point. I really wanted them to sweep Florida. I
Love
mean,
an underdog win.
right,
Love
like
an
that would have been
underdog
so
win.
awesome, but just their pitching was struggling. High Points was, and then Florida came back and walked them off at the end of that game. That was like one of the few games I did end up watching this weekend. I haven't watched Texas yet this season, but I'll definitely be watching their series against Ole Miss. I'm very intrigued to see how they're going to play against another SEC school. I'm pretty sure Ole Miss went into the season ranked. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like they were somewhere in the top 25 going into the season. Obviously, so much has moved around, but I'm very entertained to see how this series plays out.
Yeah, I mean, Texas looks like an incredibly competitive team this year, but I feel like the real test is going to be when they're in like a one-run game in the eighth inning against another strong SEC team. I feel like that's the true test, so I'm excited to see how the
Absolutely, me too. And I am a Texas fan, so I am rooting for them. And Slosh.
What SEC team is emerging as your early favorite?
I might be a little bit biased, but okay, like obviously
Oh gosh.
Texas looks good. She does
I
really
don't
good.
even know what it's about.
Texas seems unstoppable. Arkansas struggling. LSU struggling. Texas looks unstoppable. And OU, honestly, they have two losses and they were in horrible games. Like, I'm just saying,
Knew it was coming.
Oklahoma looks good. I knew you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I'm gonna have to go with Mississippi State.
Okay, I like
Like,
that.
are we serious? I feel like that's kind of
Their
Mississippi
offense.
State. Also, little biased again because we watched them play three
Hmm.
games for an entire weekend, and it was a great time. Got to know some of their guys, so it was a lot of fun. But I feel like Mississippi State has an explosive offense, and they got some young guys on the team too that are definitely being developed over time. So I'm pretty excited to see how the rest of their season pans out.
No, I absolutely agree. I mean, hey, I think watching 27 innings of any team will slightly turn you into a fan of that team.
Yeah. The Mississippi State versus UCLA, I like have been dreaming about it at night. I know you missed it.
Y'all were texting me the updates, and I was like, no way
It
that they came
was
back and won.
electric. Mississippi State travels so well too. I was so shocked. I also am from Chicago, so I like don't know the geography of the South at all. So to me, like Mississippi and Texas are just like in two
Oh yeah.
different
I mean, it's not
realms.
close.
That's it. It was so, I was shocked, but it was so much fun to watch that game. And even though they lost, I was fully entertained the whole time.
And what was your thoughts being from Chicago? What were your thoughts on the Cowbells when Mississippi State was
I
there?
was so confused on everything that was going on. The whole thing was crazy being around just like Southern baseball fans was actually absurd to me.
Your reaction to Mississippi State and Texas A&M was one of my favorite things, and that's why I can't wait to get you to Arkansas and see Fayetteville and see the Hog Call because that you're not going to believe that.
We were down in the like bullpen lounge at Ranger Stadium.
Mhm.
And I'm like standing there taking pictures on my camera as I do, filming, doing whatever. And there's like bubbles. I'm like, what is this? What is this? I had no idea looking at Presley, like, what are they doing? She's like,
And
this is so normal.
yeah, I think that's their home run celebration, and that's like A&M special thing is if they hit a home run, it's bubbles. And Arkansas's thing that I was telling Kyla, we do beer hats when the bases are loaded, like the SEC baseball is just so special.
I was even like surprised, like day one, we were just kind of walking around before any of the games had started. And I don't even think Mississippi State wasn't the first game, if I'm correct. I don't remember, but
No, it was like Arizona State, Tennessee,
Tennessee.
I think.
I think so too. Don't quote
Which
us
one?
on that. But I was actually blown. Like we're walking around there at like 10 a.m. and there's just Mississippi State fans everywhere, everywhere. So we definitely have to get down to that campus at some point or another this season because
Oh,
the way this season is going and the fan energy just in the whole South
mm-hmm.
for baseball is crazy. I'm texting Presley. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna move to Dallas now just so we could go everywhere.
It just means more.
I'm honestly surprised that we've gone this entire time without yapping about UCLA.
I know we like barely covered any I because well I don't know, did you watch them last weekend?
No.
I didn't. I kept up and went and looked at their stats, but there wasn't anything that was like too shocking. But also I think Gasparino, let me look that up really quick. Should I just look up NCAA home run? Oh, wait, someone got ahead of him. All right, there's Daniel Jackson of Georgia, 14 home runs on the season. Quentin Coates of Cincinnati, 12 home runs, and Gasparino is right behind him, tied with Colin Ritchie of Oklahoma State. And they both have 11 runs on the season. Very
Yeah, I
interesting.
mean, do we think that UCLA is going to hold number one?
I think the whole team, I mean, you have Gasparino, you have Rock Chalowski, you have Levu. I feel like they have a roster that's, I mean, absolutely makes them an Omaha contender, but how they continue playing in their Big Ten play and then how they take that on to the tournament, we just have to wait and see. Like, conference play, what starts this week? Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like UCLA is a fan favorite kind of across the board over on this end.
I would definitely.
But I mean, it is so fun watching them play, and I think honestly, I don't really have an opinion here. I don't think it's about getting to number one. I think it's about staying there. So we'll see what happens, especially with this intense SEC competition ramping up too. We'll kind of see how the cookie crumbles over there.
Mhm.
I also would like to throw in something crazy, but like was a big fan of the Murray State Cinderella story last year.
Oh my gosh, me too.
Loved the whole run. The game against Duke was absolutely electric. Loved
Oh,
following their story last year. So hoping for something like that. I don't know ball enough to throw out a name there, but I'm waiting for a mid-major school. They're gonna give me something the way that this season's starting out.
I totally agree. That Cinderella story was so sweet up until Gage Wood put a no-hitter on them in Omaha,
It was
which is beautiful.
Oh
That was
yeah,
that was in
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Arkansas, wasn't it?
Yeah. I seriously, like I said, if somehow Murray State beats us and wins this game, like I hope they win it all, which they didn't even get close because they literally didn't get a hit.
It was so much fun. We connected with a few of the Murray State guys right before the Super Regional. Um, we got them like team merch going. We connected with
Oh,
Hogart. He actually ended up coming to our office when he was in town for a Cubs tryout. Got to
oh,
meet him and got to know him. He's actually from Kentucky, so we had like a lot of ties with me going to Kentucky. I was actually like knew his girlfriend, so it was pretty cool. Or knew of her. So it was a really cool story to be able to follow and be able to actually talk to him and like just see how much it means was awesome. And I stand by the fact, like, if any of the teams that I just said were not on that list and it was all like unranked mid-major schools, I would be so excited. Love
no.
rooting for underdog. I think that's all she wrote, right?
Yeah,
Did we do it?
guess so.